بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. Next we're moving on to the third hujjah, which is Ijma'. Finish Kitabullah, we finish Sunnah Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and now move on to Al-Ijma'. Yes, this is how we have it here. So we have Ijma', after Ijma' we have Qiyas, and after Qiyas we have Mutafarriqat. Between Ijma' and Qiyas we have a little, small little, we go out and we discuss Mujtahid slightly. Okay, so إجماع هذه الأمة بعدما توفي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في فروع الدين حجة. The ijma' of this ummah after Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم passed away regarding the furu' of deen. Furu' of deen means what? Not the aqaid. That's what we call Usool al-Din is the aqaid. Furu' of deen, all the furu' masail, fiqhi masail is a hujjah. موجبة للعمل بها. So shar'an you have to do amal upon this. Like it's a dalil basically. Karamatan li hadhihi al-ummah. This is a izzah, honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon his ummah. Yes? And there's many dalil for ijma' being a hujjah. Okay? You do that in Nur al-War. Okay. Now ijma', you have different types of ijma'. You have ijma' al-sahaba or ijma' man ba'da sahaba. In ijma' al-sahaba, you have Ijma' al-Sahaba Nassan. What do you have? Ijma' al-Sahaba Nassan, meaning explicitly they agreed on this. Yes? Now, the different types of Ijma', they have different strengths. Because imagine all the Sahaba immediately after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam agreeing on one issue. And we have all the ulama 1300 years later agreeing on an issue. It's different, isn't it? So what he said is that if the Sahaba explicitly agree upon something verbally or then this is as if it's ayatun min kitabillah. That's how strong it is. Because it's like all the Sahaba who were trained by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the main Sahaba, the ulama of the Sahaba, who were trained by Rasulullah, spent time in the company of Rasulullah, they all agree explicitly on a masala. That's like, you can't go wrong in there. You understand? Okay. Next is ijma'uhum binassil ba'd وَسُكُوتِ الْبَاقِينَ عَنِ الرَّدِّ. Is that some of the Sahaba explicitly expressed their opinion, and the others they were okay with. They didn't verbally express the agreement, but nobody after a while within a time frame expressed any opposition to this. Fahimt? That's also called ijma'. Called ijma' as-sukuti. What's it called? Ijma' as-sukuti, also known as ijma' as-sukuti. Okay? This is like a khabar wahid, not khabar wahid, khabar mutawatir. It's like khabar mutawatir. Like this, understand how strong it is. Then you got ijma' man ba'da sahaba. Now, when the Sahaba done an ijma' upon something, what did they do ijma' upon? Possibility number one was there was a qawl before them. Yes? Or there's no qawl before them. So let's say, for example, is it permissible to fly in a plane? There's no call from the Sahaba regarding that, was there? Can you sit on a train? Yes? So now, it didn't ijma', but there's no call from the Sahaba. But they all agreed upon this. لَمْ يُوجِدْ فِي قَوْلُ salaf. The Salaf have discussed this. Yes? This is بِمَنْزِلِ مَشْهُور. And they all agreed, it's permissible to fly in the plane. It's permissible to travel in the car. Permissible to travel in the train. Fahim? This is like a mashhur, khabar mashhur. And the last opinion is al-ijma' ala hadi aqwali salaf. The salaf previously they had different aqwal, but then they came to agree upon one qawl. That's the manzalatil sahih min al-ahad, like a sahih hadith. That's how like the strength of it will become. Fahim? Yeah? Aja. So let's go ahead here now. ثم الإجماع على أربعة أقسام. الأول إجماع الصحابة رضي الله عنهم على حكم الحادثة نصا, regarding the ruling of a new حادثة, a new مسألة explicitly. الثاني ثم إجماعهم بنص البعض وسكوت الباقين عن الرد. الثالث ثم إجماع من بعدهم فيما لم يوجد فيه قول سلف. ثم الإجماع على أحد أقوال السلف. أما الأول فهو بمنزلة آية من كتاب الله. ثم الإجماع بنص البعض وسكوت الباقين فهو بمنزلة المتواتر. ثم إجماع من بعدهم بمنزلة المشهور من الأخبار ثم إجماع المتأخرين على أحد أقوال السلف بمنزلة الصحيح من الآحاد. فهم؟ who's أهل الإجماع? who إجماع of whom? والمعتبر في هذا الباب إجماع أهل الرأي والاجتهاد. Yes, like the Ahl ulama who are in fiqh, known for their fiqh, their opinion is counted. Every the layman, it doesn't count. If the layman start doing like loads, like on YouTube, they go or something, it goes viral on Twitter, that doesn't matter. The ulama, their opinion counts. فلا يعتبر بقول العوام والمتكلم. Awam, layman, doesn't matter. They have not educated, so I think so. It doesn't count. Mutakallim is person who's in aqidah. So remember, ijma is only in furu'ud-din, not in usul-ud-din. So you could be educated in engineering, or doctor, or scientist, or accountant, or you're well educated in nahwa, sarf, or balagha, or in aqidah, but it's fiqh. So you're not an alim in this scholar, so in this field, it doesn't count. A muhaddith. What kind of muhaddith? الذي لا بصيرة له في أصول الفقه. Just a muhaddith. In narrations, he's not studying the fiqh al-hadith. Then his ijma is not counted. They're not Ahlul Ijma. Ahlul Ijma who? Those people who are educated, faqih, fuqaha, ulama, fi masail al-fiqh. Fahim? Now he's going on to, this overlaps with the next lesson a bit. He's saying there are two types of ijma. One is murakkab and one is ghayr murakkab. He doesn't discuss the murakkab, ghayr murakkab, but he discusses murakkab. So let's see here. Ijma'u ghayr murakkab is where you have hukmun wahid. What do we have? Hukmun wahid. Ma'a illatin wahida. There's what? One illah. Fahim? Example. If a person goes to the toilet, he relieves himself. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi says his wuzu is broken. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi says his wuzu is broken. Because what's the illah? Ma kharaja min sabilayn. So that the same hukam, this person was broken. What's the reason? Because ma kharaja min sabilayn. You can have an ijma' murakkab, which is you have one hukam, wuzu is broken, but the reason is different. For example, a person vomits, then he touches his wife. So this person wuzu is broken ijma'an, but the illah is different. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi says his wuzu is broken because of touching a woman. And Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi says his wuzu is broken because he vomited, he threw up. So the hukam is same for this person, but the illah is different. So basically a compound ijma. So regarding this person, his wuzu is broken. But why is it broken? It's a khilaf. So for al-murakkab, the ijma' murakkab is majtama'a alayhi al-ara, is that mas'ala regarding which or upon which the opinions come together in a haditha, in a particular scenario, ma'a wujud al-ikhtilaf fil illa, along with having a difference of opinion in the illa. ومثاله الإجماع على وجود الانتقاض عند القيء ومس المرأة. أما عندنا in this مسألة فبناء على القيء, we say the قيء breaks wudu. وأما عنده رحمة الله عليه, يعني إمام الشافعي رحمة الله عليه, فبناء على المس. Understood? What's the hukam? ثم he didn't mention the other one, غير مركب. ثم هذا النوع من الإجماع لا يبقى حجة بعد ظهور الفساد. This is coming نون أنواع. He's mentioning here. It does not remain a حجة بعد ظهور الفساد في أحد المأخذين. This does not remain a hujjah after the fasad of one of the two illa becomes clear. Fahimt? So, ijma'an right now, that person who vomits and that person who touches a woman, both scenarios what happened, his wuzu is broken. But this ijma' can break. If we come to know, hatta law thabata, if we come to know, some evidence comes about, أن القيء غير ناخذ, the Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi will not have ijma' upon this, it will not be ijma' that his wuzu is broken. Are you following? Similarly, ولو ثبت أن المس غير ناخذ, if Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi came to the conclusion that no, you know what, masul mar'a does not break wudu, then what would he say? لا يقول بالانقضاض, انتقاض, he will not say wudu is broken. Why? Because according to him, qay is not naqid of wudu. لِفَسَادِ الْإِلَّةِ الَّتِي بَنَى عَلَيْهَا الْحُكْمِ. Do you understand? Because each person has a different illah for the hukam. So if that illah goes away from them, they will not agree on this masla anymore. Fahimt? So this is ijma' ghayr murakkab. So ijma' ghayr murakkab will become fasil if the illah changes. Yes? You following? Now there's a few questions and answers. We'll discuss that inshallah tomorrow. Subhanallah wa bihamdi subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil karim. So continuing from yesterday, there's a question on the ijma' murakkab. The question is, again, this ijma' murakkab is not mentioned in Nur Anwar, but Sahib al-Shashi has mentioned it. He's saying here that if you look at it, if you look at this ijma', it seems this ijma' is based on batil. Because we both agree on the masala that the person who vomits and the person who touches a woman with shahwa, in both of these situations, both Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi and both Imam Shafi rahmatullahi have done ijma'. This person's wuzu is broken. However, the illah is different. But what it is that we said that if it comes to pass, Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, he were to come to the conclusion, no, that actually qayd does not break wudu, then he would say this is not a mujma' alayhi masla, that wuzu is broken. So he's trying to say, well, this is not as if not making an ijma' based on something that's mutawaham, and it's kind of batil. That's kind of the question we have. So what we're saying here is that's the answer to the question. وَالْفَسَادُ مُتَوَهَّمٌ فِي الطَّرَفَيْنِ. The fasad is not the possibility of this ijma' being fasid is fit tarafain, both sides. Because jawazi is possible that Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi is correct in mas'alatul mas, muqti'un fil mas'alatul qay'. So it's possible that in mas, meaning touching a woman with shahwa, does not break wudu. Imam Abu Hanifa is correct in there, but he's wrong in the qay' masala. So therefore that person's wudu is not broken. Wa Shafi'i, it is also possible that Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi, he is musib fi mas'alatil qay', but he's muqti' fi mas'alatil mas. So in this scenario, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi will say, well, this wudu is not broken. Are you following? So therefore, it's mutawahham, it's possibility. It's not la yu'addi hadha ila bina'i wujud al-ijma' al-batil. It's not doing ijma' al-batil. There's a possibility of there being an error, but it's not ijma' al-batil. That's just the question that he's answering here. Okay? And then what he's saying here, this is now linked to this. So the fasad is mutawahham. Yes? بخلاف ما تقدم من الإجماع حتى لا يبطل بفساد السند. Again in here, he's got this last text. It's a bit. He's saying previously he gave examples where ijma' became the other ijma', the ijma' murakkab, ijma' ghayr murakkab. Now in there, if there's a fasad, then it's called batil. And then he's saying here, I'm not sure. It mentioned this in one of the one of the hawashi. So this text I'm not 100% sure about. Okay, it's not been explained the hawashi that I've got, the shuru I've got in Arabic. But what it seems to be saying here is, what's he saying here? Yeah. So the last part is mentioned here that when you have an ijma', obviously you have a sanad of the ijma', isn't it? That is it like so? Is the sanad mutawatir or not? If you think ijma', the Sahaba, nassan is what? Kal ayat min ayatillah. So he's saying that if the sanad becomes a bit weaker later on, via that the sanad does not become batil. The ijma' does not become batil. Yes? And this text here, I could be wrong on the exact meaning of this, inshallah. Yeah? Correct? G. فالحاصل أنه جاز ارتفاع هذا الإجماع لظهور الفساد فيما بناه عليه. So what he's saying here is, the summary is, it is possible that ijma' becomes murtafi'. What does ijma' become? Murtafi'. The ijma' becomes null and void. لظهور الفساد فيما بناه عليه. If the ijma' is based on a fact, on a principle, and that principle becomes what? Fasid. Or you realize that on that principle, or that the asal, what you base your ijma' upon, If that becomes fasid, the ijma' becomes fasid. Are you following? Now he's going on to give an example. What happens here, again, he gives rules and then he gives there's also similar rule in a furu'. So what he's saying here, look at this example. What's he saying here? If you do an ijma' based on something, yes, and that ma bana alayhi al-ijma', the thing which you base your ijma' upon becomes fasid, the ijma' becomes fasid. He said, let me give you a far', let me give you an example. Of what? You're basing something on a fasid, then you base something on an asal, then the asal becomes fasid. Then the whole thing becomes fasid. وَلِهَذَا إِذَا قَضَى الْقَاضِي فِي حَادِثَةٍ. What does the qadi do? The qadi makes a decision regarding a particular ruling. ثُمَّ ظَهَرَ رِقُّ الشُّهُودِ أَوْ كِذْبُهُمْ بِالرُّجُوعِ. Or it turned out that these shahid were slaves, and slaves are not ahlu shahada. Or it turned out that these witnesses were liars by them doing ruju', saying, no what? We confess, we turn back from our testimony. What will happen then? Let's get this example. Look here. You got a qadi, we got the mudda'i. And what's the rule in Islam? Al-yaminu al-bayyinatu al-mudda'i. Whoever's making the claim, what must he present? Shahid and witnesses. And the mudda'a alay, if he doesn't have witnesses, then he has to take an oath. And when he takes an oath, what will happen? Then he will be, so he has to prove it by shahid. If he doesn't have shahid, takes an oath and then it's clear. Now, in this situation, if the qazi, he brings two witnesses, proves the case against the mudda'a alay, what will the qazi do? Qadha bi hujjatin shar'iyyah. What will he do? He'll make a decision. And the qadi made his decision based on a valid shari'i hujjah. What's his valid shari'i hujjah? Shahidan. Now this hujjah shar'iyyah does not become batil. It's an evidence, it will stay in place. Okay? So therefore, he'll have to pay the money. So far so good? Acha. However, these two then ruju, it turned out they were lies, it turned out that they were slaves. For some reason, their shahada became null and void. You following? What will happen now? We will say, بَطَلَ الْقَضَاءُ فِي حَقِّ الْمُدَّعَى عَلَيْهِ. Yes, it's not da'fan, it's daf'an. I said da'fan here, daf'an. We will say that the judgment passed by the judge, the ruling passed by the judge, will be deemed null and void, not totally. Because the qadi made a decision based on a hujjah shar'iyyah, which is what? Two shahid, and the qadi went about doing all he could to make sure that these witnesses were trustworthy. But when they were not trustworthy or something came about, then the qadi made a decision based on an asal. So we will say that this judgment is null and void in regards to the mudda'a alayh. Because the case was made against him, innit? And so, well, the qadi made a decision, tough luck. I said no. Regarding him, daf'an li-dharari anhu, to remove difficulty, hardship, loss from the mudda'a alayh. We say in his haqq, what's happened? The qadha is batil. Not totally. And batal al-qadha'u fi haqqi shahidain. And in regards to them, the qadha is batil. So now, yajibu alayhim al-dhiman. So the shahid has to pay back to the mudda'a alayh. Not in regards to the mudda'i. Because why? The qadi made a judgment. So the qadi made a judgment on a hujjah shar'iyyah based on them. So the qadha will remain intact for the mudda'i. But they will have, because it's batil for them, for him, and him. So therefore he needs to get his money back. And they lied, so they will have to give dhiman and they will have to pay him back. He hasn't been proven to be a liar, has he? He just made his claim. And he used it. If he was obviously involved, then he will have to give the money back. That's what he's saying here. Yeah? So, بَطَلَ قَضَاؤُهُ وَإِن لَمْ يَظْهَرْ. Even though the qadi's judgment and ruling being batil does not become clear in regards to the mudda'i. Do you understand? Gotcha. Now what he's saying here, based on the same principle, what is it? That a masla is based on an asal. When the asal it's a bit like the nahi and af'al shar'i, nahi li ghayrihi. What happens when the illa goes away, the hukam goes away? So similar to this one here. He's saying here similar principle. When you base a mas'ala on an illah, and the illah is mafqood, the illah is no longer found, what happens then? The mas'ala goes away. وباعتبار هذا المعنى, based on this, سقطت المؤلفة قلوبهم عن الأصناف الثمانية لانقطاع الإلة. In sadaqah, what do you say? إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعامل عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب, etc. So from the 8 groups of people who are entitled zakah, who's entitled zakah? One of them mentioned in the Quran, al-mu'allafatu qulubuhum. Whose hearts are you trying to entice towards Islam? What does this mean? You don't bribe them. If you bribe them, if they come to Islam because of money, they leave Islam because of money. Yes. If you can buy, if you can buy their hearts for Islam, they can buy their hearts for kufr. What it means is, for example, let's say for example, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Jahl was killed, Umayyah ibn Khalaf was killed. Now the son wanted revenge. Now Islam was being conquered. They're in Mecca. It's like, okay, like they're not entitled to that money because it's a war. But it's okay, give some recompensations, give some kind of recompensation, etc., reimbursements, just to kind of get rid of all of this rancor. Yeah, let's say, for example, there's a war, you conquer the war now, lands have been destroyed, unless, like not necessarily, but people died, somebody got killed. So just try to say, look, we will pay. It happens. Yes, as long as you don't violate the laws, but in between, in crossfire. So in here, do ta'rif of the qulub. Fahim? Yes? So لإنقطاع الإلة. So what's إلة? The إلة is تعريف القلوب. And Umar radiallahu ta'ala, so Islam was at the beginning, and the Prophet ﷺ was trying to get these people who had some kind of issues in the past, trying to get them back onto Islam and, trying to patch up things that would happen. Even though it may have been just, the Prophet never oppressed anybody. Abu Jahl is the one that brought the whole army against the Muslims. But obviously Ikrimah is going to feel upset. Ikrimah is going to want revenge. So the Prophet said, look, here, this is, pay them off. Umayyah ibn Khalaf's son, was called Safwan ibn Umayyah. Pay them off, give them, you can even if your honor, your takabbur is the issue, it's like, okay, you can say we've been avenged, we've got diya, and even the Arab accept the diya. So you're not entitled to diya, but here we take this money. So things like that. But that's gone now. So now the mu'allafat al-qulub is gone. Similarly, Dawil Qurbah. The illa is gone from Dawil Qurbah. Fahim? Now he goes on to another mas'ala again. This is not to do with ijma'. But what he does in this book is he always goes on to a different furu' to prove a mas'ala or the asal. So we say, what's the rule? That if you have an asal, and the asal is what? So ala hada, idha ghasala thawban najis. What do? You wash impure clothing. What do? You wash impure clothing with what? Bil khalli, with vinegar. Fazalat al-najasa. Najasa is what? It goes away. Yuhkamu bi taharat al-mahal linqita' illatiha. So we're saying here, the najasa of the thawb, the ruling of najasa of the thawb is based upon an illah. What's the illah? That impurity being attached to it. Are you following? You get how he's making how he's using this principle. So he's saying that this cloth is impure. Why is the cloth impure? Because there's impurity attached to it. Yes, that's illah. So remove the impurity, what's going to happen? So if you use khal, if you use vinegar, you use coke, you use Sprite, what else can you use? Whatever, something that's not water. Yes? You use any of these, you use orange juice, based on orange juice, but use orange juice, and you remove the najasa. You remove the illah. The illah of what? The najasa. So therefore you say, yuhkamu bi taharat al-mahal. We say that cloth has now become pure. So he's doing another mas'ala. This is the asal. وبهذا, based on this, ثبت الفارق بين الحدث والخبث. We've now established the difference between hadath and khabath. What's hadath? Hadath is tahara hukmi. It's a hukam. And this is a ayn. Not having wudu is a hukam. Yes? So if hadath asghar, hadath akbar. So let's say, for example, if you go to the toilet, or if you pass wind, there's no impurity in your body. It's a hukam that this now, we say the hukam is broken. And khabath is, there's blood, there's urine, there's stool on your body, on your clothing. What are these now? This is khabath, this is impurity. So hadath, the shara'id, yes? So for hadath, you have to have what? Remove the illah. No, sorry, you have to have ma. It's short for ma. Yes? And in khabath, it is izaratul illah, which is izaratul najas. فَإِنَّ الْخَلَّ يُزِيلُ النَّجَاسَ عَنِ الْمَحَلِ, which is the khabath. يُزِيلُ النَّجَاسَ أي الخبث. فَأَمَّا الْخَلَّ لَا يُفِيدُ طَهَارَةَ الْمَحَلِ وَإِنَّمَا يُفِيدُهَا الْمُطَهِّرُ وَهُوَ الْمَاءُ. This is a hukam, so it's ta'abbud basically. This is, you can say another way. This is ta'abbud, and this is ma'qul. Fahim? So this is the questions raised regarding. Yes, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك.